Welcome back to the weekly matchup show, the Jacksonville Jaguars weekly matchup show with Mr. Rashad Robinson and myself. Um, uh, I'm still bummed out about last week, but I guess I should introduce myself. I am merely 1/3 of your sportsologist, Dedrick L. Hicks Jr., and I am ready to talk about some Jaguar football.
Yes, sir. And I'm Mr. Move Them Chains, 130 sportsologist. We gonna turn up in a little bit, boy, but we gotta talk about last week, man. So
Yeah,
last week was a bummer, but it's a new week. You know, we go try to move on from that. But yeah, last week was it was tough.
yeah. Well, before we get into that, thank you for joining the Sports Test Live. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you're seeing, we have previous content already posted. We are a consistent, brand new sports brand to the world of YouTube. So be checking in with us, man. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every single time a new piece of content drops on the Sports Desk Live. All right. So no secret, we reside out of Jacksonville, Duval County, Florida. And of course, we have a show dedicated to our beloved hometown team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right. So let's go ahead and get it off, man.
Yeah, so just to recap last week, y'all.
Yeah.
I said it was tough. You went into that game. We kind of talked about what we needed to do on offense, and everything that we needed to do on defense, we did it. Defense came to play. Defense really came to play. Had a big special teams turnover, and you kind of thought that we on the way. 4 red zone appearances, 4.
Five. 0-5.
5 red zone appearances.
Mm-hmm.
And you come out with 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to me that on all of those possessions in the red zone, you had touchdowns that were barely not touchdowns. Just a tick slow play calling. You got Trevor trying to be a hero, calling his own number at the 1 yard line. It looked like a very desperate team. A team that just wanted to prove that they were there and not acting like contenders, but still acting as if they're still chasing something. And I think that's a lesson that will be learned. But that was tough to watch. It was tough to watch that game in that weather. I thought the crowd did what they were supposed to do. I thought that everybody showed up except the offense and the offensive coordinator. And you had drop balls. You had a lot of different things that contributed to that. And they still only lost the game by possession once again. And it's not going to be good enough. But we're going to try to move over from it and see where we can go from here, D.
Mine is a little bit more harsh. I have a little bit more harsh critique. And for anybody out there who's watching saying, dang, it's just week 2. Yeah, you're right. It is week 2. But we've been listening to all the hype. We've been listening to all the mature and the maceration process of the Jaguars since the end of last season. And, of course, going into that heroic playoff game. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into this territory. All year long, I've heard how the Jaguars were coming. All off season long, the Jaguars are coming. The Jaguars are here. Trevor Lawrence is a top 5 quarterback potentially, but still hanging around in the top 10. Peter King from NBC says, oh, yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars #1 seed, this and that. So I'm not going to go with what my heart feels and what my head, I'm going to go with what my eyes saw. So my eyes saw a team that has all the potential in the world, the weapons that are in place. I firmly believe in my heart this team is ready to make a deep playoff run and to make a case that they could go to Las Vegas to compete for a Super Bowl championship. But I didn't see that team on Sunday. The defense, yes, I have nothing to say about our defense. When you have Patrick Mahomes coming into your house and you made him respect your house, salute to the defense. I am very disturbed by the play calling. I'm very disturbed by how the offense was a tick slow. We were slow getting to the ball. Not only myself, but Rashad was in the stadium for this game, burning up in 10,000-degree weather. And I had to sit through that.
Yeah. For 9
Treble
points.
was off. Everybody was off. The only player on this stat sheet that looked like they amounted to anything was Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram. Everybody else, where were you? Everybody else, where were you? Penalties here, penalties there. The defense gives you 4 turnovers, and we cashed nothing in. Nothing in. We were sitting by some Chiefs fans, and these Chiefs fans says, hey, man, y'all letting us hang around a little too long. Y'all letting us hang around a little too long. And right before the half, Patrick Mahomes seemed like he said, all right, they don't want to beat us, so I guess I'll beat them. That's exactly what I felt. I feel like Patrick Mahomes said, all right, they're not finna do nothing. Let's go on and get them out of here. And they did exactly that. My tone is just disappointment. We didn't show up. We deserve the backlash. We deserve the harsh critique. Doug Peterson, whether he's calling plays or not, I don't know what the situation is with the play calling, but I will say this, it is god awful. You got the Chiefs fans calling out our plays before the snap of the ball. So if the Chiefs fans calling out the plays, what you think the defense for the Chiefs was thinking?
Yep.
So utterly disappointment. I'm hanging in with the Jags. I got the Jags going at least to the AFC Championship. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they can make a Super Bowl appearance this year. But if we don't get this fixed, and I mean right now, we will be picking in the top 15 of the draft, because I don't know if the Jaguars notice the NFL is competitive. Yeah. There's the whole conference in the AFC can make the playoffs, except probably 2 teams. Yep. So that's my take on it. I'm just disappointed, but I'm hanging in with the Jags.
Yeah. I don't blame you, D. I felt the same thing sitting into the stadium, watching it. But when I got home, Twitter is a really good place to be at when you're distraught about your team, because they make these cut-ups so fast. I mean, literally right after the game, when I was pissed off about play calling, I was showed where plays were open where we wasn't making plays. On that 4th and 5 call, when it was a sack, I said, well, dang, why would we even go for this 4th and 5? You get home and you see Christian Kirk is wide open. Trevor didn't throw him the ball.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So we talk about the play calling. The play calling was abysmal in spots.
Okay.
But I think from what I seen afterwards with those cut-ups that the players didn't perform. Plays were there to be made. They were called to be made.
Okay.
And we didn't make the plays. So for me, I'm going to put this more on the players than I will the coaches. I will put it on the coaches that you leave your rookie right tackle on an island with the best defensive lineman in the league. Interior defensive lineman in the league. He can go inside, outside. And he was whooping our rookie behind. We did nothing to help him. Help the man. Help him. Yeah. On that 4th and 5 call, he was by himself with a Pro Bowler.
Blew it up.
With an old pro. You can't do that on 4th and 5. You got to protect them. So we're going to move on. But we had to address that Chiefs game.
Absolutely.
That we anticipated all season long. All off season long. For them to do that crap.
Yep.
So we turn the page.
Yes, sir. Let's turn the page,
Houston,
baby.
Texas.
Yes, sir.
1 o'clock Sunday. And for me, the only thing that I'm looking for in this game on offense for the key matchup is Trevor Lawrence versus Trevor Lawrence. What you gonna do, Trevor? Because you got a bunch of people out in the secondary. You got their best cornerback out in this game. You have defensive linemen out. You have linebackers out. You have safeties out. Starters in this game. What you gonna do, Trevor? I believe even if those players were playing, by what I saw in the press conference from Trevor, Trevor's not a guy who gets rattled. I saw
he not
very pissed off Trevor in that press conference. I think he knows that he left a lot on that field, and I think regardless of who was playing in this game or who he was playing, he would bounce back. But this is about Trevor. I'm not worried about the offensive line. I'm not worried about the receivers. I'm worried about Trevor being sharp and making decisions so that he can put this team in position to be who they are on offense. Because to this point, in week 1, they scored 31 points, but the offense didn't look right. In week 2, they scored 9 points. They were moving the ball until they got into the 20s, which this was a problem for Trevor in the beginning of last year too, when they were horrible on third down and horrible in the red zone. Now we got the same thing. We're horrible on third down and we're horrible in the red zone.
Right.
So for me, this game is about Trevor Lawrence showing us that he is who I think he is, who D thinks he is, and who all of Duval County thinks he is.
I'm with you. This is a game where I want to see more of a command from Trevor with this offense. I want to see more theatrics with him getting everybody involved, getting back to the huddle, getting back to the ball. I want to see him at the line really emphasizing the pace of this game. I don't like the Jaguars' pace on offense. I didn't like it versus Indianapolis, and I didn't like it against Kansas City. I feel we could be a bit more tick, 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 get into the ball and get into the line. I'm sure Doug and our offensive coordinator do a great job of getting Trevor the plays in a timely manner. And if they're not, they need to. So if they're not, they need to. I want to see this offense pick up the pace. This offense is going to go by the lead of Thor, that beautiful blue-eyed angel, the second coming of the greatest man of all time, because I'm the first. And I just don't understand, what is it going to take for Trevor Lawrence to say, you know what? I want to let this dog out this cage, and this is the most perfect opponent to let the dog out. Yeah. The one thing I hear, and I've heard all the time about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, all of their former skill position players and offensive linemen say it. They were the same way every day, no matter if it was week 1, week 6, week 16, or the AFC or the Super Bowl. They were the same way and approached the game the same way. And when I heard that, I said, well, damn. If two of the greatest of all time who has talent, and Trevor is way more physically talented than Peyton and Tom, we know they were big up here, the IQ. So anybody who tripping on what I just said, physically, Trevor's more talented. But the IQ up here and the displaying of that IQ, that's what I want to start seeing from Trevor.
Yeah.
That's what I want to start seeing. I want to start seeing in the same way, week in, week out. This is a Trevor Lawrence game. The Houston Texans suck.
They suck.
Okay? I love their upstart head coach and D'Amico Ryans. I think with some time, I think he might be okay there. But he ain't going to be okay this year because they got injuries and they got problems now. And C.J. Stroud looking like exactly who we thought he was.
Yeah.
So
although
Trevor
he had a good
Lawrence
second half.
And the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're at home. The fans are coming back to the heat. Give us something to cheer about. Give us something to be positive about. It's early in the year. Let's beat the hell out of the Texans. That's where I'm at with it.
Definitely. I agree. His offensive line is awful.
Yeah.
And on defense, that's the key. This defensive line should feast on that offensive line. They got injuries on the offensive line too, man. Like, this is a beat up team. And even if they wasn't beat up, they're a bad team. So
they're bad, yes.
If you're a good team, which I think the Jaguars are, I'm not giving up on this season. This season is very young. We're disappointed.
Yes.
But we do understand what this is.
Yes, absolutely.
And sometimes it just take your offense a minute to get into the groove.
Yeah.
And once they get into their groove, I feel like they're going to be on cruise control for the entire year. That's what happened last year.
Okay.
So, but right now, that's what you have to do. You have to get this offense in cruise control.
I agree.
And if you don't get this offense in cruise control, you're going to be in for a long year. So what better way to start but Sunday to get this offense in cruise control? But we got to talk about this defense right now.
All right.
This defense has been playing well the first 2 games.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, the concerns that I had for my team was never with my offense.
No.
It was with my defense.
Exactly. It's so backwards right now.
If everything was backwards right now, I would be saying, let's have a little patience with the defense. We knew that this defense, it was going to take a little time.
Right.
That's not the problem.
Right.
The defense has come out guns blazing.
Beautiful.
Last week, I could not believe how good that defense was playing.
Man.
Held the Chiefs to 17 points.
Crazy, bro.
Big
plays.
I expect for this defense to play just as good as they have the first 2 weeks, even better. Create even more turnovers. Actually get some sacks. Last week, they got pressure on Mahomes. They didn't get any sack. They got 1 sack. Kayvon Chason got 1 sack. But I expect sacks. Houston has allowed 11 sacks in the first 2 games.
Yes.
We should feast on that. Josh Allen, I think he's going to play.
Yeah, questionable.
You know Walker's going to play. Yep. Your interior, we need pressure in this game so that we can put this game away.
Yes.
That's what we need. We need this defense to play exactly the way they've been playing, and I expect them to. Yes. Because once you do it 2 and 3 times, it's a trend. This is who you are. You're a good defense.
Yep.
And that offense is coming, believe me, but you're a good defense. Continue to be who you have been. They don't have a lot of weapons on the outside. They have a really good back, but he can't do anything because they're getting behind early, and their offensive line is terrible right now.
Terrible.
So if you're the defensive line for this, you can wreck the entire game plan by doing what the first 2 opponents have done to the Houston Texans. Wreck their game plan from start to finish.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm so proud of the defense, man. I'm watching the game last week in the stadium, and they're flying around, man. Cisco and Jenkins and the D-line and everybody's moving around. And you're causing the Chiefs to drop passes. You're making sound tackles. You're getting turnovers. Just very, very proud of this defense because, like Rashad just said, who in the world thought we would have been talking Jags defense and then Jags offense? Like, who in the world would have thought that? But this is where we are. Just to piggyback off Rashad, and he really said it best and really, really intellectually broke it down. I don't really have too much to add. I want to see them keep up the pace of it. They seem a little chippier. They seem like they kind of got some nasty streak going on in them. A lot of talking. Kelsey was popping his gums last week at the end of the game. I like how the defense ain't drop it. They ain't drop it. They kept it going even after the game. So I like that. So that sets the tone to hopefully around the league. The other offenses are looking like, all right, these guys kind of got a little bit of dog in them, man. And I like that because if you're going to win championships, division titles, conference titles, and eventually a Super Bowl, you got to have it. You got to have it. So I'm very, very proud of our defense. I just think the Texas offense, they're lame ducks, man. They waiting for somebody to put their misery out. I know it's week 2. I'm looking at CJ Stroud last week. I mean, for granted, he hasn't turned the ball over, but his stats are very minimum. He's had a little bit of a bright spot through his first touchdown pass last week, but coming into this week at Jacksonville in the heat once again, the defense, this is the best defense that, in my opinion, that the Texans have seen as far as the way that they're playing right now.
Yeah.
I just think the Jazz going to take complete control, get some hot blitzes on this kid, catch him on his blind side, really confuse him on the coverage, and let's have a party in the bank, man. Let's have a party in the bank. So that's how I look at it. I expect the Jags defense hold it down.
Yeah, I think it should be a party in the bank, but what the Jaguars have to do is look out for what happened last year with the Texans. Because last year with the Texans, this was basically the same thing. And a running back had a field day on us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, you can be beat by anybody.
Absolutely.
But when you are a team like the Jaguars and you are playing a team like the Texans, you can make this game be over with in the first quarter.
Yep.
They can give up. They're already coming into this game saying, okay, we're going to give it our best shot, but we know we shorthanded. If we were all the way healthy, we'd be shorthanded, but this team is all the way shorthanded. So they're going to come out inspired like any other NFL team would. But they're on the road. It's going to be 90 degrees, and they're playing against a team that's much better than them.
Yeah.
Show them that you're much better.
Yep.
The Jaguars have beaten the Texans one time, I think, in the last 4 years. Once in the last 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Home and away.
Wow.
We don't beat this team. So they still have the logo.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to show that you are a different team. You say that you're a different team.
Yeah.
We need to be shown that you're a different team.
For sure.
This is a divisional opponent. You have a chance to go 2-0 in your division.
Yep.
You have a chance to be 2-1 in your conference.
Yep.
This game is of uber importance.
It is. It is. It definitely
Win the game first. But for your morale to go to London next week, you need to have an offensive explosion so that your team is reminded of who everybody thinks that they are.
I agree.
You can carry that to London with you.
I agree.
But you got to start that now. So that was pretty much my overall feel of the game. I think that the Jaguars should dominate this game. But again, this is a NFL team. They don't want to be dominated. They want it when they pick their check up on Tuesday, they want to earn it.
Right.
So make them earn it. But make them earn it with you dominating them.
Right.
Period. There's no reason why the Jaguars should not dominate this game. There is no spot that the Houston Texans have on offense, defense, or special teams. They have no player, no coach, nothing that is better than the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zero.
Yep.
To this point, Will Anderson may be better than Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, but right now it's his third game. He's not better than any of them.
Right.
So I just don't understand why the Jaguars wouldn't dominate this game. But if they allow them to run the ball, if they allow play action to get deep shots, they can lose this game. Yep. If they're going to come out and be focused, they can lose this game. But that's the only way they can lose this game because they're better than the Texans in every way.
Yep. I feel you on that. Every way that they're better than Texans. I would love to see a big-time blowout in this game. Talking about the Jaguars score their usual 30 and up. Defense keeps the Texans to 10 points or less. You talk about a 31-10 or just on the field, I want to see it. The score can be confusing sometimes, but if you watch the game, it's different. That's like somebody saying, oh, this team won 24-20. But if you didn't watch the game, it was 24-3 the whole game to the fourth quarter.
Right.
Until the team got a couple garbage touchdowns or something like that. But I want to see the Jags just simply dominate. The quarterback positions, there's no comparison. The coaching, in my opinion, even though I'm a fan of DeMeco Ryans, no comparison right now. Just no comparison with Doug Peterson's experience. And the defense, they got their spots, man. They can just attack a rookie quarterback. And hopefully Monday morning when we wake up and we listen to all the NFL sports talk and all Monday morning radio and water cooler and everything like that, hopefully people are saying, okay, all right, I see the Jags. Let's keep our eye on them instead of saying, oh, it's the same old Jags. Same old Jags.
D, in week 1 when we did this show, you said that you wanted to see Trevor with his helmet off and holding his shoulder pads.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter.
Yes.
This should be one of those games.
Mm-hmm.
But I would play him. I don't care how bad it gets.
Oh, yeah,
I'm playing him because you didn't earn it.
Yeah.
The previous 2 weeks with how you played to be holding your shoulder pads in the fourth quarter. You go finish this game and you go make sure that you earn holding your shoulder pads because people that do that, they earn it. Yeah. You haven't earned it, and you sure ain't earned it last week, and you didn't earn it the previous week, and you still scored 31 points. So, no, somebody else can hold their shoulder pads. ETN can hold his. You know what I'm saying? Christian Kirk, if he had a big game, he can hold his. But Trevor need to be out there playing.
Mm-hmm.
And he earned that.
Yeah.
So, coaching advantage, we talked about that.
Yeah.
There's no comparison. I think that DeMeco Ryans is going to be a really good coach.
I do too.
DeMeco Ryans was a good player.
Yep.
He was a great defensive coordinator.
Yes, he was.
It's his third game, and he's playing against a guy who won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yep.
Enough said.
Yeah, enough
Like,
said.
seriously. This is going to be the quickest episode in in the history of the Jaguars matchup show. There's nothing to say.
Yeah.
Giving a prediction 40-13. Like, what are we talking about?
Explosion.
We are talking about a team that does not have some of their best players on defense already.
Yeah, Singletary's already been ruled out for the game with a hamstring. Larry Tunsil on the offensive line, he's very questionable with a knee. And Denzel Perryman, middle linebacker, who's a head buster, he's ruled out with a hand. So you got
I don't think the safety's playing either. The one that came from San Francisco.
Yeah, they I go ahead. Yeah, he's not. I'm sorry. The safety, he is out as well. Jalen Pitre, their corner, on the opposite corner, he's out. Tavara Thomason, he's out as well. And then
that's the slot corner.
Yeah, so they got injuries everywhere on the defensive side of the ball.
It's injuries everywhere.
Yeah.
You're already playing one of the worst rosters in the league, and some of their best players are out. Yeah. If you want to have a get right game in the NFL, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, y'all. I'm really not. But I'm just speaking facts on what we think this team should be.
Right.
If you are who you think you are, you go in from the moment kickoff and you have a jamboree. That's what this should feel like. A jamboree.
I agree.
So
I agree.
40-13.
Okay. All right.
I mean, defensive touchdown, special teams touchdown, Trevor throwing for 3 or 4 touchdowns.
You at home.
You're at home.
Back-to-back home games.
You embarrassed yourself last week.
Yep. Back-to-back home games. Yep.
You should be coming out saying to yourself, let's get on a roll.
Yeah, and to show the world this is not who we are.
This is not who we are.
This is not who we are. We have way more to offer than what we show in a big-time game. Now, don't get me wrong. The world is going to be sitting on their hands until the next big-time game for the Jaguars, and that's cool. Rightfully so. They deserve it because of what happened. So I'm with you, Rashad. You got 40-13. I got 10,000-3. That's my final score. I just don't see anything positive. And don't get me wrong, D'Amico Ryans, he's going to have his players motivated. They're going to come out in the first quarter, maybe even the second quarter, and they're going to show as much heart as they can, especially with the players that they got holding up these spots for all the injuries that the Texans are suffering through. But it still just won't be enough. You could be as motivated as you want to. Like Mike Tyson said, you could do all the training in the world. You can run. You can do push-ups. You can lift weights until you actually get in the ring with me and I punch you in the face. All that go out the window.
Yeah.
All that go out the window. And this is what I'm expecting. So I'm pretty sure the Houston Texans had a great week of practice. Barring the injuries, they probably feeling real good. They landed in Jacksonville today. So they probably going to be ready to go. But until they see 16 and Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk and NTN and Tank Bigsby and all, like things should change. They should change. Jaguars 10,000. The Houston Texans 3. Now for the Jaguars on the injury side, we'll have Zay Jones. He's ruled out with the knee. He will not be playing for this game. Josh Allen is on the injury report, questionable with a shoulder. Andrew Wingard, safety, he's questionable with a shoulder. And let's see. That's pretty much it for the Jags.
I think that was it. I think that was it. For the Jags, they're a healthy team, man. They pretty healthy. I mean, we're trying to see when we go get Devon Hamilton back. We got one more game out with Cam Robinson. And I really believe once we get Cam Robinson back and they walk a little inside, you'll have a couple of games before you have to play like well, that's not true because as soon as they come back from London, I believe they go to New Orleans. That's going to be a very, very tough opponent. That's one of the best defenses in the league. And it's on the road. So it might be kind of dicey with making that lineup change going to the Voodoo House. But
you got to
cross that bridge when we get to it. But he's coming back. Devon Hamilton is going to come back at some point. And I think this team is going to get healthy at the same time. And once that offense start rolling, y'all, I mean, we going to have fun this year. Trust me.
Yeah, we should.
We disappointed, but we going to have fun this year, man. This is still one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
They are. They're one of the best teams in the AFC. A lot of the teams that we thought were going to maybe be fringe teams, they're really not. The Browns just had the worst injury that they could possibly have.
Yeah, man.
Pittsburgh looks like trash.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
we had Aaron Rodgers go down in the first. So you don't have many. There are teams that can compete in the AFC.
Sure.
But they're not that many. This is your year to take it. Let's start week 3 against an inferior opponent and go get a convincing W so you can go to London and feel good about yourself.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. Well, let's win some money with the sports desk. All right. MG and Graham and Yahoo Sports Books, they have the lines out for this game right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars are favored by 8.5 points at home against a not so very good Houston Texans team. The public is the public is 59% on the Jacksonville Jaguars for the 8.5. Then you have another 41.5% taking the Houston Texans 8.5. Rashad, if it was your money, if it was your ticket, which way would you go? Would you go Jags 8.5, or would you go Houston 8 plus 8.5?
8.5 points is a lot of points in the NFL, but not for this game. It's not.
Right.
It's just not. This game reminds me of when the Jaguars played the Broncos. I believe that was in 2012 when Peyton Manning just got there and we had to go to the Broncos and they beat us 41-14. That's what this has the making of. You're playing an inferior team and you're a good team.
Right. I agree.
If you are a good team, that's what the final score will be.
Yeah, I'm with you. You got to take the minus 8.5 for the Jags. Jags at home, back-to-back weeks. They didn't have to travel. They're the better team, the better quarterback, the better coach, the better everything. They just are. And unless somehow, some way, the good Lord says, hey, CJ Stroud, throw for 600 yards today, which I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
But Jags 8.5. All right, money line minus 400 for the Jags. Massive money line plus 310. For the Houston Texans. The public is 100% on the Jaguars. Minus 400. I don't remember ever seeing that before. 100% Jaguars minus 400. All right, Rashad, total points over under is set at 44.5. Now, this could be tricky. You got a good team versus a bad team. Does it get out of hand enough for the starters to be pulled out in the fourth quarter? Or does Houston make it interesting and the starters are forced to stay out there? So 44.5, where do you think this thing is going to go, Rashad?
I think it's going to go over because regardless of what, it's going to go over for both teams. If the Jaguars score 30 and they pull their starters and Houston starts scoring, they only got to score 11 points.
Right.
You said 44?
44.5.
44.5. Yeah, that's over.
Over? Okay.
It's no way in the world that they can hold the Jaguars to under 30. Are you serious? With all those starters out on defense? How?
Yeah. I'm with you. I think but this is tricky when you talk about sports betting. When you got a bad team versus a good team, you could be going to the fourth quarter of this game 30-0. Doug Peterson might say, okay, it's 30-0. I'll send him out for a drive in the fourth quarter. There's 11 minutes left. Houston mess around and scores a touchdown. Now you at 37 points. So you got to hope and pray because the Jaguars won't be looking to score. So it's going to be up to Houston then. So it's a tricky game. But I'm
is a lot, bro.
It is.
That's a lot. That's a lot for any game in the NFL. 44 points, that's a lot.
But I'm with you, though. I think this barely goes over by a big explosion by the Jaguars in the first 3 quarters, and then maybe Houston can mess around and get 7 to 10 or 14 points to slightly push that thing over. Now, Rashad's calling for the Jazz to score 41. I'm calling for them to score 10,000. So if that happens, then it should be a-okay. All right. So if you take these bets, man, let us know if you want a little bit of cash with Rocking with the Sports Desk Live. Rashad, you want to wrap us up, man?
Yeah, man. For the Jaguar fans, I see y'all on Twitter. I see everybody complaining, man. I see everybody kind of panicking. Pump the brakes, man. It's week 2.
Pump the brakes.
Please pump the brakes. I did enough panicking for us last year alone. I'm not. If you
Yes, you
want to
did.
go back in the archives
Yeah.
and listen to the sports desk
Go
on
listen.
audio, we got over 280 episodes, I believe, probably 300 episodes. You can
Go
go
listen.
back and listen to me panic for the
Yeah.
first 8 weeks of the season.
Yep.
I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm just not. Until it's warranted, I'm not panicking anymore. Y'all take it easy. This
Yep.
offense is go figure it out. I think that they're just trying. I think they're so explosive that they got to figure out who's going to do what at what time. And that may take a little time. It may take them the first 2 weeks of the season.
Maybe.
But I think after you see this game, I think you'll be able to calm down, and we'll talk about what they do against Atlanta. A surprise team in Atlanta.
Yes.
We'll talk about what they're going to do in Atlanta next week, but I just think they get back on the right track. So y'all just take it easy. Pump the brakes. We going to be all right.
Yeah, Rashad, you know that's easier said than done as people are fans, but I agree with you. I was very passionate and emotional after the game last week. I meant I meant everything I said, and I felt the way that I felt, but I'm not jumping off the boat. I'm hanging tight. We're going to ride. Jags, Texans on Fox, 1:00 kick. We'll see what happens, and of course, we'll be here next week to talk about this game, and then as we move on to the Atlanta Falcons in London, correct?
Yeah, in London.
So
London,
we got an early kick. London back to back?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
London,
and the Bears, right?
Atlanta, and then the Bills.
That's right. And the Bills. That's right. Okay. Wow. So early kicks for the Jags coming up. Well, at least for us here at 9. I think it was 9:00 kicks, 9 a.m. kicks, something like that.
9:30 in the morning.
All right, so we'll talk about that as we get closer. So, again, thank you guys for watching, coming through to the Sports Desk Live here on YouTube. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, spread the word, share the love, let people know out there, hey, it's a new upstart, fresh and new brand of sports that's over there on the Sports Desk Live. And y'all keep rocking with us, man. We're going to keep pumping out the content, and we're going to get better and better as we go. All right. So again, I'm your guy, Dedrick L, Hicks Jr., 1/3 of your sportsologist, and you have been rocking with me and Mr. Moodum Chains on the weekly Jaguars matchup show. All right. Anything else, Rashad?
No, man, I'm good. Go Jags, man.
All right. Go Jags.